Hello, we're going to start here, and the reason why is sometimes you get a bit lucky in gardening. And this Acer here, and it's the Acer that everybody walks by and goes, whoa, I'd like to buy that. And the problem is we never knew what it was, because it must have been maybe a dodgy plant that wasn't saleable and just banged it in and forgot about it, and off it took off really well. But anyway, we thought it might have been Beni Maiko. So I planted Beni Maiko, and Beni Maiko was more spready and it doesn't have that richness. Now, funnily enough, if you had been here a week ago, that was even stronger. Absolutely amazing looking. This light pink, like on fire. So a chap came in during the week and he said, I'm looking for Acer. Deshojo, I think he called it. And I said, I don't know, I don't think we have that. And I said, we have Beni Maiko, and we have this other one, I think it's, I'm not really sure. He came out, that's Deshojo. So I was going to buy them immediately then, so I looked up one of my suppliers and didn't have it. But they had Shin-Deshojo, and that's Shin means newer in Japanese, so it's an improved form of that. I finally, after all those years, I identified it. So that's a really good Acer Deshojo or Shin-Deshojo. I would highly recommend it. And like other Acers that are that sort of colour, you know, they haven't got the same protection to strong sunlight that the ordinary bog standard one or the species one would have. So give them a little bit of protection from the sun. And the wind, obviously, and the wind. And now we're going to plant a few things. Oh, something interesting. We have to do more work here. I planted that rose, Wildeve, it's a really David Austin rose, really good David Austin rose. I planted it about 3 weeks ago when it was kind of Noah's Ark weather, and sopping wet. Planted it and grew really strongly, and yesterday I went out and it was like that. We have had about 5 days of sun and already like that. So we water it and it's back up again. That's a good sign. So if it's newly planted and it's grown strongly, the stronger it's grown, the more water it's going to need. So just keep an eye out, and if you see that happening, just water. And an hour later, it was back up again. Now that's very happy. In 2 months' time, that will be that size. Just keep growing. Now, I wanted to do one particular thing, but I just noticed here, the Omphalodes, that's cappadocica, and that one is called Starry Eyes. And this one is come in, and I don't know what that one is called. It's sort of a mauvey one. That's just a freak. And feed it over here. And that's the original blue. And funnily enough, from a distance, the original blue actually stands out, because from a distance, the white and the blue fade in together and it makes it more diffuse, so it doesn't look as good. So the ordinary blue is better. From a distance, what have we got here? Coming up nicely. Variegated Solomon seal. I'm not particularly mad about variegated plants, but variegated Solomon seal is really well worth having. It's a super plant. Now, we got a bit of work done on our tunnels and brought them out a little bit, so I changed the bed. And if you look through, see our sales area, and we've integrated the garden all around our sales area by bringing the sales area out a bit, so when people are in the sales area, they'll be able to see the garden. It's like being in the garden. And so we rearranged our beds, and we have to go planting. First thing, people come out, and this is the first bed they're going to see. along here, so we have to plant this up. And we want one decent plant, and I'm very tempted to plant Calycanthus Hartlage wine. It's a very unusual flower, really, really good. That's the very first plant people see, but I haven't made my mind up yet. So that's one possibility. The weeping purple beech, I'm going to be rootless with that in a year or two. I'm going to cut it right back nearly into a telegraph pole again, and it'll come back out again. And look at this Acer Brilliantissimum. You would think that it was planted there deliberately just at the perfect spot for the building. That's just total fluke. And that's one of the best Acers that you can have. Now, where this was the original bed went around like this, and we've had this very good Erodium here, and it's going to be lost. Really good plant. So that's been moved. So that is a job we're going to do for today. Move the Erodium. Silene is great. That's kind of native, so never gives a bit of trouble. Whoa. It's the roots of the tree actually that stopping it from being moved. Roots from the beech tree. And here we have it. I've forgotten the name, but it's absolutely beautiful. So it's going to go here. Yes. I don't think this would be regarded as the traditional method of splitting plants. The pickaxe was designed to build the railways and the Roman Colosseum, not for splitting plants. Yeah. Look at it. Every one of those would root. So we're gonna one here. And another piece. I think I got this as a customer. This is not really in the trade. I think a customer gave me a present of this years ago. One there. We put one here. Now, 1, 2. Maybe that. And then the rest we'll pot on. Ground very soft because very friable because we took out about 1/2 ton of rocks from it. there's one of the rocks we missed. It reminds me of the ground you see in television gardening programs, where the television gardener comes across and he comes to the ground, and it's like cake mixture. The ground is so friable. Oh, well, look, what's this here? You take him out. I thought we got everything else, but now, the funny thing is, these erodiums probably come from this type of environment anyway, kind of shaly. They wouldn't be coming from like woodland conditions, which would have lots of organic matter. So that's 3 of them planted. Looks a bit rough and ready. Now this is the important thing. And always have your soil level, right level. Don't have humps and hollows. Just makes it easier. Get all the lumps out. Now that's easy. And we leave this hose here, and then we'll re-water. I don't know what we'll put here because it's very under the very dry under the beach. Keep an eye on it, that's all. Now, next job. We're not, that's all the planting we're doing. Oh, maybe not. We have the Trifolium ochroleucum, which that's sulphur clover, and it is just one of my favourite plants. This was the original run here, and I planted 2 here, you can see them. The new run is this way, so we'll put 2 more here. And let's see. No. And what I'm doing is I'm going to show the reason what I'm going to do next. Very gravelly part for the path, but there's the underline. Good cultivated soil, agricultural soil, so it's good. No need to do much with this. There's no, the only thing we have are roots from the pine trees. Here, look, that was potted last September. So it's there we go. Funny enough, the gravelly stuff, that wouldn't harm them at all, and they can fix their own nitrogen, so they don't need nitrogen. That was roof tile, early Roman. Not so weak enough. There we go. Same carry on. So I'll water them the very same as I water those over there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Little bit of organic matter. And what we use for organic matter in the garden centre is any bag of anything that gets burst. That's our organic matter. I generally don't use it as here. I don't need it, but this is strange round. As you can see, the Euphorbias are fantastic. Now we're going to put here a lupin. There's the lupin there, and that's a seedling from the same lupin. And the reason I'm doing that is because that's not an ordinary lupin; it's a tree lupin. It's funny. It's only a sub-shrub, but they call it a tree lupin to distinguish it from the normal lupins that die back. They love sunny, dry conditions. So I'll put it there, kind of go there. Now it doesn't, once again, lupins are pea family members. They fix their own nitrogen, but there's a very handy source of nitrogen here. You see it? That's from the bird roosting up there. Free nitrogen. We put that root. I bought this tool on the internet. I don't know whether it's any good. Kind of like the look of it. No, it's not any good for here, but it's called a digging hoe. Now, it's too rooty. Anyway, I won't go into it. You get that in later. That's going to go here. Maybe here. Oh. And very keen on these cornflowers, and they need bone dry, or they can get very scrawny and straggly. So they don't need much organic matter. Funnily enough, they grow in situations where there's little organic matter. But isn't it beautiful? Centaurea montana from the mountains, shaly soil in the mountains, which for amethyst and snow. Isn't it lovely? Yeah, they can get scrawny, and if they get scrawny, you have to be ruthless with them. Just cut all the bad stuff off. They regrow and they flower again. That is beautiful. I think trees enough. Lupin a bit further back to about there. Lupin about there. Will be there. So that's that. The other plants, I want to get a spot for these. The Armeria, Silene maritima. It grows wild in Holt Head. It's sea campion, I think it's called. But beautiful white flowers, and it likes up the mountains or on the sea cliffs. Plenty of wind, plenty of open situation. Will we get a spot for it? No, I don't think so. We'll use that somewhere else. I think that's it. Yeah, we just mentioned just these plants here that we planted about a week ago. About 2 weeks ago, we planted those lupins, and they'd come out of a house, and it was coldish and wet, and that, you see that reddiness on the leaf? That's a reaction to the cold, because they've come from a warmer house or tunnel. But that does no harm. It's some type of survival mechanism, but the leaf doesn't die. And if you look at the fresh leaves, they're back green again. And here's the flower spike on its way up. So that's going to be really good here. We put in Delphiniums, and you can see the way they got bashed. But they need water. Oh, look, lots of flower spikes on them. They're going to be okay. They've settled in, but under protest, we'll give them a good water. The most important plants that for me here will be the echinaceas, and there was a lot, when the workmen were here, there was a lot of walking around, but being workmen, well, you know, they have more important things in their mind than plants. So but look how well these four are doing. This, I think, is going to be one of the best plants in the place this year, in the gardens this year. And what else did we plant that was doing well? We planted a fennel coming up, and we split in 3 parts. That was over there. It was split into 3 parts, Sanguisorba, and it was very unhappy, or 4 parts, and it's absolutely thriving. They're coming up, and they're ours. And we've decided we're not having any ajuga. Any ajuga we see, we're removing. We're being ruthless, because it's coming up and here and there, and it's not enough of anything to be anything. And we have Sedum Autumn Joy, a little bit of Persicaria, the ground cover one at the front. And oh yes, we'll finish on this. The pampas grass, Pumila. I was wearing gardening gloves last week for some reason, and I found with gardening gloves and something to protect your eyes, you can go into a pampas and pull all the old stuff out rather than go to the trouble of cutting it back. So we got all the old stuff out of the middle. You can see it here. It's kind of a lazy man's way. It's kind of a lazy man's way. But next year we will cut it to the ground. But this year we're just going to leave it until these are more bigger and are filling the ground in better. Okay, well that's it. And my find of the year is Acer Des Hojo.